Hey guys, this is the market update. I want to talk about Bitcoin becoming officially a legal currency in Russia. This is one of the biggest bits of news ever in terms of cryptocurrencies. And obviously this is going to start off a race to see who can regulate and bring in cryptocurrencies for every big nation. This is absolutely massive. So right now we see Bitcoin is up 20% over the last 7 days. A really, really good move considering all the FUD that's been, around this last few months. It also looks like the economy is doing slightly better than expected in the States, which is obviously a massive influence. Inflation is still high, but it looks like things are getting back to normal. And also the consumer seems to still be spending, which is good news for assets like stocks, and therefore, because of a little bit of correlation, other assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the other cryptos as well. Just want to go over this because it's obviously been a great, last 7 days for cryptocurrencies, and we know that because Shiba is up 60%, which means everyone's risk on again. But what we can see is Crypto.com as well, up 30% in the last 7 days. So obviously the Super Bowl is, next week or this weekend, and Crypto.com and FTX are going to be advertising in the Super Bowl. So what you're going to see is potentially more people flooding in and actually buying their first set of Bitcoin, potentially CRO as well, and FTX as well. So obviously, the more people that come on board in stages, obviously a good thing for the market. I want to go over kind of the price of Bitcoin, as you can see here, some of my technical analysis on the current price. Now I was drawing these two lines down here. If you go to my last TA video, you can see essentially we actually broke through that support, but we obviously consolidated around this level. So again, a key level, but we've broken through the first level. Then we've gone into the second level right here, as you can see, around 44, 45. There is a third level here that I drew on, which is kind of in between really this level that we're at now and what I would expect is kind of the top of this range, which would be the kind of resistance up here around 50,000. That just happens to be that kind of more or less the $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, which is obviously going to be a huge area that people are looking out for. You can see some of the other areas of value around here, consolidation, support and resistance, and this is what's led me to draw these lines right here. For now, actually, if we look at a lot of the on-chain analysis, it looks like a lot of this buying is spot led. Actually, it's just kind of easing off a little bit at the moment. As you can see, we're consolidating around here. But this move up from like 35 to 45 has pretty much been spot led, which is very good. That's a very healthy sign. People are basically taking cash and buying Bitcoin, which is good. It's not, led by futures or any speculation like that. Just kind of resetting right here. I think consolidation is good right here. Then we've got this second level potentially, and then the third level at 50 if the bull run continues, but we've got this level to the downside if that happens as well. They're really the levels that I would be trading at. So if you want to trade Bitcoin on Bybit, which you can see me using here, if you trade futures, you can get up to $4,000 as a deposit bonus on Bybit. You can use that link in the description. When you make a deposit, they'll give you a bonus in your futures trading account all the way up to $4,000. I also want to come to this post on Twitter that shows us where the buying has come from recently this month, which has been, like I said, the spot market. This is very healthy, not too much speculation right now. And we can see that this is thanks to On-Chain College on Twitter. Just under 36,000 Bitcoin have been net removed from exchanges in 2022. The sats have been stacked. What does this mean? Well, essentially what you can see here is that this is net flows from exchanges. So obviously if Bitcoin is coming onto exchanges and there's a net positive inflow to exchanges, that's not great. That means a lot of people are basically taking the Bitcoin that they're hodling, putting on that onto exchanges and basically looking to sell it. Now, this comes in two different ways because obviously when the price of Bitcoin comes down, as you've seen here, so obviously we had the high at 69 at the tail end of last year, but then you can just see this faint line here, Bitcoin has been falling. Now, what you can say is, well, essentially, if Bitcoin is falling, then people don't really want to sell it as much. So people sell into strength, and then when the price comes off, they just hodl and wait. So that it kind of isn't saying, well, do people lead this move, or does the actual hodling and the Bitcoin coming off exchanges, is that led by the price coming down? So obviously, on-chain analysis isn't going to tell you that. I think it's a bit of both from seeing the market play out a long time. As the price comes down, what you tend to find is that people take their Bitcoin off of exchanges and just hodl it. Basically, long-term holders, don't want to sell at cheap prices. So when the price goes up and you're reaching new time highs, highs, usually what happens is you see more inflows into exchanges. You can see all-time highs here. You get some peaks. And this usually happens as the price is rising. So that, long-term holders are basically selling into strength and saying, yep, you got me, this is a great time to get out. So obviously one, can lead the other in this instance, but we can see basically with this price coming down, people have been buying Bitcoin and taking it off exchanges to hodl, which is obviously a good thing overall. What I want to come to is Nick Carter here as well, saying, how can anyone be bearish on Bitcoin right now? It's totally beyond me. Why is that? Russia literally went from banning all cryptos to now saying cryptocurrency is legal currency and anything under about $8,000 is not going to be taxed. So you can just use this currency exactly how you want. Now, there's reasons for that. There's political reasons for that as well. Obviously, energy. This is a huge area for Bitcoin because I believe Bitcoin is going to be used in the energy industry almost exclusively as well. Every single energy and power plant will have a Bitcoin miner on there for various reasons, including taking any of their surplus and basically using it to mine Bitcoin in the meantime. Last legacy financial institutions are piling in. Banks turning on retail access, wholesale financial repression, currency crisis, right? So yeah, I totally agree with this. Every single thing that everyone's been saying about Bitcoin over the years, it literally is happening right now. I'm glad I'm making this video because in 10 years we can look back and say, this is basically the moment. 2022, the start of 2022. India, Russia saying, okay, yep, let's put it on board, waiting for the state still. I'm sure they're getting things together and that will come pretty soon, but it's happening right now. I want to come to this as well. This was news obviously a few weeks back that Intel are set to reveal their energy efficient Bitcoin chip. That will be happening at the tail end of this month. This is right here. Why do they want to do this? Every single energy producer is going to have a Bitcoin miner because energy demand is not static. It goes up and down. And during a trough of demand, essentially the energy producer can just use that extra energy and put it into mining Bitcoin, which means the cost of energy will come down basically because you have every single last bit of energy being used in some way, either to the grid or when the grid doesn't need or want it during the middle of the night, turn that over and just keep the turbines on mining Bitcoin. This will reduce the cost of energy. Such an important asset, Bitcoin. It's unbelievable how important this is. You have JP Morgan, a few years ago saying it is a scam used by scammers and criminals. Now they're predicting 150K Bitcoin, which is, just some random out of the air prediction. Like they're just, I guess, just picking a number that's far enough ahead of the current price to make it seem like it'll be a good deal. I think Bitcoin is worth multiples of this, but just the about face that these retail banks are now giving us. Yeah, if you want to get some Bitcoin bonuses, look in the description. You can sign up for Celsius Wallet. If you deposit $400 on the platform, they'll give you $50 of Bitcoin as a deposit bonus. If you're in the UK, you can't use Celsius, but I do recommend Nexo. They have a similar offer. If you deposit $100, you can get $25 of Bitcoin as a deposit bonus. So when it comes to Russia, there's a couple of points here that I want to outline as well that I think is going to be the same pretty much in every country. How do these governments regulate and control the flow of Bitcoin to prevent money laundering and everything like this? Well, they're going to do it through centralized exchanges, basically, in my opinion. And also, decentralized exchanges are going to have to be regulated as well. This is going to be a huge kind of battle, but decentralized exchanges just won't be allowed in Western countries. They just won't be because of all those reasons. They will have to be regulated, and they're going to come under intense scrutiny around this as well. If they don't come in and be regulated, it's going to be pretty hard, and there's going to be a huge battle because we're about to find out how decentralized DeFi really is, in my opinion. Basically, the Russian government is saying, yep, Bitcoin is a currency, and if you spend under $8,000, then you don't have to declare it. That's amazing. Now, obviously, Russia want to do this for various reasons. They have immense energy resources, and most of those energy resources are stranded very far away from population centers. And so Bitcoin mining is literally free money for them from lots of oil and gas under the ground that they currently don't take advantage of. So obviously they want to do this. They also want a clearing and settlement network to sell their energy that isn't controlled by these states. So this is nation state game theory playing out right here. And it's quite interesting if you're a Bitcoin holder. But essentially what you can see here is that the way they're going to control some of the flows here is that if you want to trade or buy and sell Bitcoin, you have to use a regulated exchange within the country that needs to have an office in that country and be regulated and controlled by some of the regulations there. So obviously what that means is that if a token or an asset, a crypto asset, doesn't comply with those rules, obviously those exchanges will not be allowed to list it. And this is how they're essentially going to ban things that don't comply with their regulations. This is going to happen in America, in Europe as well, I presume, is that all these centralized exchanges are going to have a local entity that is regulated, and only assets that fall under the regulatory scope that are actually approved will be allowed to be traded on those exchanges. And we'll see how decentralized DeFi really is when it comes to, some of the more sketchy and kind of offshore type stuff that is, still going on in crypto right now. So this is huge news, and basically we're just waiting for the two laggards, which is Europe and the US, to see what they're going to do as well. But they're going to have to come out with their plans very soon. If you want to get those Bitcoin bonuses, look in the description. Those codes can get you some deposit bonuses. Also, if you want to check out my crypto investor course, I go over how I invest over the long term, how to go about that, 150 videos. The price is going up this weekend because we added new content. That content is free for existing users as it comes. We add new content all the time as well, and some private Discord groups you can enter as well as part of the course. That's all in the description. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.